Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Final Point Podcast. I am your host here, Adriel, with my co host Josh in the building
Yo, yo, yo,
today.
yo, yo. What's up,
We got
man?
some interesting topics around the NBA to talk about today. Let's go ahead and start with the first topic of today. We're going to talk about the Celtics kind of dragging along, coasting a little bit in this regular season. We're going to also talk about Ware versus Wemby tonight, and we're gonna also find out if Jimmy has found his joy yet on the show today, and we're gonna talk about Adam Silver's comments about tweaking 3-point shooting. We'll get to that later in the
Where's
show.
Jimmy's joy?
Yeah, we're gonna see if he's found joy again. But before we get there, let's go ahead and start with Josh. The Celtics. Do you feel any worries about what's going on? But me personally, I just think they're coasting. Think they're a little unmotivated. Uh, think they're just kind of waiting for the playoffs.
Yeah, I've found myself this season kind of just uninterested in in the Celtics unmotivating play. You hear like players like Shaq, Kobe, uh, you know, teams that have won back-to-back championships discuss how tough it is to win it back-to-back and how you got to stay motivated. Maybe it's just kind of harder than we think it is, right? I mean, because to have that much passion every game, to want to win every game, to not take no games off. Maybe that's just too much to ask from spoiled little bitch ass billionaires, millionaires. Okay, because there's no explanation for it. Uh, 5-5 in the last 10 at home. Celtics usually dominate at home, and the teams that they've lost to over this last, let's say, 15 games stretch, they're teams that we shouldn't be losing against. And if I don't, if they don't care, why should I care, right? If they're not showing any urgency as to listen, we got to get our shit together because we don't want to create bad habits. Celtics have been notoriously known for losing late leads, right? And for just mailing it in the fourth quarter. And that's been their biggest problem. Even last year, that's why when we did dominate the playoffs and dominated the Mavs the way we did, even after we were still ahead in most series, people were still talking shit. Oh, they're gonna fuck it up. They're gonna fuck it up because we fuck it up. So Celtics fans can't get mad when we have this reputation, when they're calling Jason Tatum soft, when they're calling him overrated, when they're calling the Celtics overrated. The last year's playoff run didn't count. That shit doesn't hurt y'all feelings because it hurts mine, and I don't even play. So it should hurt their feelings. There should be a chip on his shoulder, and we started off the season hot, right?
Hmm.
Um, we spoke about how the Celtics came out, and I just don't see that anymore. Listen, 29-13 is not too shabby, but these teams that were even in close proximity with towards like late games, there's just no need for it.
And
Uh,
I also think that some of the mistakes defensively have just been, you know, god awful for a championship Celtics team. We can even take in, for example, uh, the Drew Holiday Trey Young foul at the last 5 seconds of the
First of
game.
all, you know what? There's certain trigger words during this episode that are gonna get me, and that's one of them. Drew Holiday is a fucking trigger right now for me. This guy, dude, you're getting paid. I'd say above mid tier, right? I mean, Drew Holiday's contract is
For
not
his
nothing to
age
just
and
kind of sneeze
production.
at.
Yeah.
And this fucking guy, I mean, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a whole lot of bricks. Or no, not even bricks, no shot attempts. And he's getting cooked on defense. Uh, he's one of the biggest reasons why we are losing. I don't know what we do. I don't know if we can trade Drew Holiday. Maybe the team that's gonna be, that'll take a shot on him. But yeah, we just haven't seen the motivated Celtics. And I mean, from a, I know that you're a Celtics hater, but take that hat off for a second and just look at it from both sides. Realistically, do you see this team? The Lakers in during their three-peat, I would argue that their second run was one of the most dominant runs. That second run, they were blowing teams out. Do you think that this team that you see right now currently, do you think they can repeat?
It's hard to say with how OKC's been looking this year, and also from that's another game that we could also take into example with the fourth quarter problems is when they played the Celtics, they demolished them on that fourth quarter. They came back, rivaled, completely came back. I don't know. It's hard to say. How I see the Celtics right now is I just see them just coasting. They're just coasting the regular season. They're just trying to get to that finish line. They are probably going to be the number one seed in the East, so they're going to have home court advantage already.
I don't see them with that number one seed, bro.
You don't think so?
In the East? In the East, there's. I mean, I expect the Cavs to continue on their winning pace because the Cavs have found something. So I expect them to kind of carry that momentum throughout the season and keep that number one spot. We'll probably come close. There'll be times in the season where we're close, but I think the Cavs will take it. We'll probably end up number 2 or number 3.
And then also let's go ahead and take a look at this as well, since this pertains to the Celtics.
You know what I just meant by that?
What?
I don't think we're done losing.
Hey, I mean, like I said, I personally, and this is coming from a Heat fan, I just think you guys are coasting. I mean, we take a look at these stats right here, and this team's regular season stats. These are just compiled. But if we take a look from championship year last year, and we move on to the stats, in most of the stats from minutes to 3 points, you guys are top 10 in every category. You guys rank top 10 in every category. We move on now to this year's stats. We kind of dipped.
Yeah, there's a big dip, and that's what I'm talking about. There's not the same urgency, and there's been a couple things that have happened recently these past couple games. Jaylen Brown was quoted as saying, "I've had to adjust. It's a different year. It's a different year following the win. I just do what the team needs me to do. I've been able to evolve through different things in my career. This team, I'm more of a playmaker." So he said, "This team, you see, so." He's already separating last year's team with this team, even though it's the same fucking team. I'm more of a playmaker, so I just embrace it and get better as the role and do what I do. Jaylen Brown, what the fuck are you talking about? It's the same team, same coach. Dude, just do what you guys did last year. We don't need you to do a different role. I don't even know what he's saying right now.
I don't get those statements either, because I mean it's literally the same team.
Does he know something we don't know? Maybe Joe's trying to change shit around.
It could be trying to spice it up for other teams not to scout heavily on them. Could be a thing.
Whatever he's doing, it doesn't work. Joe, stop messing with the team, dude. We got Jaylen Brown saying stupid shit like this. His comments make no sense. It's the same exact team. I don't know. And you guys were dominant last year. We expect you to take a step up and be even better than you were last year. Not digress, even though he's averaging more assists than he was last year, but digress in terms of play and then say shit like this.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't kind of get those statements either from him. It's literally the exact same team to the bone, to everything. It's the exact same team.
Yeah,
Um,
hey, Jalen Brown, I don't understand you. If I understood you, we both be idiots. That's the only thing I can. That's it's on Jason Tatum and it's on Jalen Brown. It's not just on Jalen Brown, but it is on both of them.
yeah,
I have a feeling. I'm telling you, I have a feeling that Brad Stevens is going to tweak this lineup. We may see either Drew Holiday or Derek White getting shipped for a package because there's still value there, right? Drew Holiday can help a contender. Um, Drew
Derek
Holiday on
White.
a team, yeah, right? So I mean, but the way he's been getting burnt lately, I mean, I
He's
don't
he,
know if there's that much value there.
he's already aging,
Yeah.
far beyond his prime right
That
now. So
contract sucked, man. We should have gave him a 2-year contract.
last year it looked pretty good.
Oh, it looked great last year. Last year we had a bargain. We were saying, hey, haha,
Yeah.
everyone, we got Drew Holiday. Now I'm like, fuck, we got Drew Holiday.
It's kind of the same dynamic we have currently in Miami with Terry Rozier. Kind of the same thing.
No, because Drew Holiday got us a championship. Rozier
Yeah,
just got
yeah, yeah.
shit.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I give you that one. You're right. You're right. If
Dude,
that was if
first of
that
all,
was to
listen.
be yeah, if that was to be true, I would be actually pretty happy right now.
Listen, I'm over here roasting Drew Holiday. Don't compare Terry Rozier to Drew Holiday. All right, we're
I
roasting Drew
agree.
Holiday. That's over. That's overkill. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I was thinking there. You're right. You're honestly right about that one.
But listen, I expect them to eventually turn it around. They're gonna figure it out. I still think we're the best team in the East. I think that the Cavs, although they gotten better, we're still a lot better than them. And we're gonna eventually end up figuring it out. Even if it comes down to a trade, a last minute trade in the deadline, we will figure this out. So
I'm with you, man. I think they
I'm not panicking just yet.
yeah, I wouldn't. I think they're just waiting. This team is just a shark in the water waiting to smell blood, and like they're gonna be fine. I think so. This happens to every team. I would say that wins a championship and the following year they kind of coast.
Yeah,
You know
but you
they
know what? Yeah, I know. Listen. First of all, the way you're talking is like, hey, we got to the finals, we got to the championship. At least we did that. That's not how we think in Boston. Okay, we didn't become City of Champions by thinking that way. All right,
I I'm not saying
that's
coasting
not
is good.
okay. What what? Listen to me. What I'm saying is they should not be thinking like that way. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
I don't want to become the Milwaukee Bucks of 2021. I don't want to become the fucking Denver Nuggets of 23. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the Golden State Warriors of 2022. You know, there hasn't been a back-to-back champ in a long time. This
Hmm.
Celtics team brought back the exact same team. You're supposed to be better this year. So
Well,
this, if anything, this is the opportunity to go ahead and do it. The Nuggets, after their championship run, they gave up a lot of pieces, a few pieces, a few key pieces. This team didn't. So we shouldn't even be like, listen, you know what, dude? They should be thinking, let's run it back. We shouldn't be having conversations about 5-5 at home and in the
yeah,
last 10. You know what I mean? That's just not, it's unnecessary. I don't know if they're fucking trolling us or they want to get us mad.
it's a troll.
It's a troll. It's just a bit.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on now to our next topic. Uh, Ware had a big night versus Wemby today, and we got to see the first time ever in a game. Bam slotted to the power forward position. Khalil Ware taking full control of the center position, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is where we made history as Bam hits Khalil Ware for the three, and boom,
bro,
we have the
bro.
we have the
Bro.
chemistry forming
What
right
do you
before our eyes.
think? Okay, do you think that Spo is trying to sabotage this season by not playing them together earlier?
I feel like
Because I don't understand what he sees and what I mean. Maybe we're missing something here, but it seems to me like these two should have been playing together the whole season. He's a
the
rookie. Give him some play. We've been saying that. Let him play.
the fan base has been asking for this. Spoelstra does not like to play two bigs at the same time. He just doesn't.
What
If
kind of
like if
fucking rule is that? Has he heard of David Robinson and Tim Duncan?
I'm not sure, it's just it seems to be a preference of his. He's always been like this. But I will, to be fair, I'm gonna say that this year Spo is not having the best year that he's had as a coach this
Oh,
year.
you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's just some people just don't like to admit that, and I'm admitting that because it's true. He has made some mistakes this year. Not
Dude,
saying not saying he shouldn't be the coach, but I'm just saying he's made
listen to me.
mistakes this year, and he does usually never.
At some point, any coach, even the best coaches lose a locker room. I mean, you stop listening to that voice. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that's not to say that Spo's a bad coach. It's a matter of time until they kind of tune him out. And Jimmy's been tuned him out.
Yeah,
But dude, I mean that was that. This is expected.
yeah.
He's been a coach for a long time. No, I'm not saying change, but can you see the transition happening the same way it took place in Boston, where Ainge moved on from the GM spot, gave it to Brad Stevens, right? Spo's been it as a coach a way longer than Brad Stevens was in Boston. Can you see? And Pat Riley's getting older. Can you see Spo stepping into the GM spot and someone else taking over
Eventually, but not anytime soon.
next 5 years?
Probably not. No,
And this is the problem. See, you guys don't want to change anything.
no. I
See,
just
because
don't
you
think.
guys think that you're in Miami is
I
nice
don't. No,
fucking
no,
weather.
no,
Hey,
no,
come by and party.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
but
no.
play for us,
It's just,
dude. It's gonna
what are
run
you?
out.
But what are you gonna do? You're gonna replace Spo with who?
W-
The assistant coach, and then what?
First of all, yes, because that's how it usually works. But
Obviously, but like
it's a new voice in the locker room. People have tuned out. I'll
I
say
don't
it
think people
again.
have tuned out Spo. It's just I think Spo's just hard headed on some of his decision making.
Yeah.
But I think from what he saw today and how quickly the game changed because the Spurs were up. So Wemby was on a roll after the first quarter. As soon as this lineup entered the building, they got control of the game, and then it was a blowout ever since they inserted both of them into the building at the same
First of
time.
all, listen to me. I am not an NBA coach. Okay, that's obvious. Coach some AAU, coach some high school, but my assessment of that Miami roster and why this change didn't take place before, anyone can see that Bam is a mismatch for most power forwards in the NBA. Okay, you can line them up. Bam is a mismatch, and then you add in the factor that Ware can step out and hit threes. So now Ware is bringing his defender out of the paint because now you got to respect the big man three. We all know how precious that is, right? When you have that weapon.
Yep.
And then it leaves Bam on an island alone to body anyone who's guarding him. And if you do switches, right? If you do pick and rolls and you're switching and you're getting the mismatch that you want, Bam is going to get the mismatch 3 or 4 times out of 5. He's going to get the mismatch. And it's
Yeah.
just going to be a body down low. And if you double Bam, it's going to kick out to Ware. And if you can manage to close out to Ware just fast enough, you got Duncan and Hero to worry about. I don't understand how Spo didn't get this. I think maybe he's sabotaging you guys. I mean, maybe he's the real villain here. Maybe fucking Spo's like Joker and he's blaming it on fucking Jimmy Butler. We're over here blaming Jimmy. Maybe it's Spo the whole time because
I
these two
doubt
should
it.
have been played together the whole time.
But I mean, this is also the kind of the same thing. For example, from last season, Spo was not playing Jovic at all throughout the whole season.
Right.
Out of nowhere, the fans kept asking for it. Then midway down the season, he started playing. This season, he pretty much plays every game off the bench. The same thing is happening now with Kalel, where they kept him out. They said, they wanted him to be completely ready for his games. And you know what? In a way, I think this was kind of the best route for this to happen. Kalel Ware got a short leash, got to learn, fix everything that he needed to fix before he was NBA ready, and now we're starting to see the NBA readiness show up.
Yeah, he's dude. He is, and he's longer than I mean, you see him, and then you see him kind of, and you see him playing defense and running the floor, and you think to yourself, this fucking guy is like a gazelle.
Yeah,
he's like a larger version than Giannis, but Giannis got the arms. They kind of got the similar body, and the crazy thing is that Ware doesn't even have the NBA muscle on yet. Wait till he gets that NBA muscle into a, once he's settled into the whole regimen of the whole NBA flow of it, he's just gonna gain muscle. And I think the Heat got lucky on this one. I think that they got a gem, and if Spo, this kid's success is gonna depend on Spo. How stubborn Spo can be, because you got to play him now, right?
Yeah,
you got to play him.
You have because this team looked like a whole nother team once this lineup entered the game. It was a whole nother team, whole nother dynamic was going on. Automatically, the defense got so much better. The spacing got so much, like everything changed once this entered. And I think I'm pretty sure now Spo saw it. He saw the impact. By next game, this will be a staple now, is this lineup. And good, because I'm glad, because now when you have a lineup of Duncan, you have a lineup of Tyler, Jimmy, Bam, and Ware, that is a very nice, formidable five for as long as Jimmy's going to be here. But, it is what it is.
We've seen this before. Now, this is an extreme example, but I remember Luka's rookie year, they didn't play him how Luka's playing now. Luka was off the ball. They were trying to have Luka do back doors, and that's not Luka's game. And it took approximately at this point in the season for them to realize, wait a minute, maybe this guy should have the ball in his hands and just let him do what he does. And then boom, right? They found spark. Magic. Maybe it took this long for Spo to realize, like, wait a minute, we should just play this guy.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense to just play him, because what the fuck else do we have? Right? Mm-hmm. We're stinking the fucking joint up. You might as well just play him and see what we get. And what you've gotten so far, if we're going off of what we've seen so far, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
That you have that 1-2 punch, and maybe this instills some sort of confidence in Bam to get Bam's spark back, because Bam lost his spark. Maybe this sparks something in him. But it's always good as a defender to know that you have an elite rim protector at the hoop in case you get beat. NBA is about man-to-man matchups, staying in front of your guy. And I always used to say to my kids in the AU, don't impress me by getting steals and all this and all the fancy stuff. Stay in front of your defender for more than 5 dribbles. That's impressive. And if you get beat, then you got your, you have your help. If you're the Heat and you're playing defense and you get beat, knowing you got this huge 7'3", dude. 7'3" guy back there, and if he misses the assignment, you got Bam, who's an elite rim protector when he wants to be. That's a good insurance policy for what the Heat lack, and what I think the Heat lack is elite on-ball defense, and Ware and Bam give them that insurance protection in case you get beat.
I agree. But I mean, what a big night for Ware.
Yeah.
Completely, matched Wemby tonight. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. I mean, he did it all tonight. So congrats on him. Um, Now, since we're still talking about the Heat, let's find out if Jimmy found his joy. I mean, even within the picture that is up right now, you could see Jimmy completely sitting down on the bench by himself as the whole team's standing up, just cheering on the team as he just sits there in, I guess, complete misery. For making the money he's making and for watching his team win. It's great. Um, we can even pull up, a matter of fact, a other circumstance of Jimmy with high joy pouring through, you know, through everything. We could go ahead and take a look during the day of his suspension last when he came back. Look at all the joy that's within this man's face as his teammates rile him up during the intro.
Hey, man. Jimmy don't want to be there, dude.
No,
You guys are like
no.
holding him hostage.
It's. I think that's what he's trying to make it seem like. But you know what? If Spoelstra gives me more of that Bam and Ware lineup, I'll be happy. I'll be happy with just that this season.
Do you know what I despise the most is that athletes, and not just NBA athletes, athletes in general, right? Elite, top tier athletes getting paid millions and millions of dollars to play a sport. It's just it has to be like if I'm an owner, right? If I'm the owner of the Heat and I'm signing this fucking guy's checks, right? And I'm watching that video, and I'm watching the video of him on the bench, and then I'm sure he's gotten the intel on all the fucking, all of his antics.
Mm.
These past couple weeks that got him suspended. I'm thinking to myself, man, why the fuck do I have to pay this guy? If he had a normal job and he got a raise, and then like right after he got the raise, now he's showing up late to work, right? He's fucking leaving early. He's
Yeah,
he's just fucking up on the job. You're gonna get fired,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Any normal job, you
Or your
are
boss is
required
gonna
to
call
do
you
your
out.
job.
Yeah,
That should apply in the NBA. That should apply in any single major sport and in any profession. That should apply. Like if you don't do your if we gave you a raise based off of your productivity and then your productivity drops, why the fuck am I still paying you? I should just pay you before like I gave you the raise, right? Because that's what we agreed on before. So the fact that Jimmy's getting away with this shit, man, is just crazy. But I still see him being traded in the next by trade deadline. I think they just kind of just put a little band-aid on it for him to finish off the this remainder of until the trade deadline. I still think they're trying to move him.
no, I believe wholeheartedly they're trying to move him. I just don't think they're taking their time with this trade. Because if you kind of think about it, they're really not in. It's not a desperate trade that they have to make as of right now. They
No, it
don't.
is.
Well,
It is. It is because you know
it,
what? They can potentially make a run here if they get the right piece.
if they get the right piece. But I also don't think that other teams are putting up offers.
Because of Jimmy's doing in a way he's kind of hurting his own value,
Exactly. He
right?
is. He's
But
most
but
definitely hurting his value.
if you're an owner or a GM for a team looking to trade for him, do you ask Jimmy the honest question? Do you be like, hey, dude, just I mean, between you and I, are you trolling them? Is that why you're playing like that? And if I make a commitment to you to make this trade, are you going to play like that for us, or are you actually going to try? Because he's not trying. That's
Yeah.
clear. So maybe you get that assurance from Jimmy on the side and say, listen, if I trade for you, are you going to try? And maybe
I
he
mean,
says, yeah, obviously, dude. Yeah, of course. If you trade for me, yeah, I'm going to try. Which is fucked up if he does that. Like we said last episode, if Jimmy gets traded and then goes off on a run, like
Yeah.
playoff Jimmy from 2020, will you be mad?
Yes, I would be mad because it's like it's okay to have your beef with the front office or whoever you might have beef with, but is it right to rob your teammates of that? To rob your teammates of maybe winning or going through a deep run, or you know what I mean? Like, is it right to do that? Probably not. No. Is it
But we
selfish? 100%.
but we don't know what's been said in the background, right? We don't know what's been said behind the scenes.
We
Have there
don't.
been words
But
exchanged?
but we all know that if it is the fact that they're having these issues, you, as like you were saying, as your role, having a job, you know doing all that, you are there showing up to do your job. So for him, he's got $55 million that is his. All he has to do is opt in, play the season out, and hey man, when the season's done, goodbye. Go anywhere you want.
But
However, he wants this extension
why would he not opt in?
because he wants this extension, because I feel like, and this is my personal take on this, I feel like he knows he's deteriorating a little bit. He's lost a step. He wants to get his guaranteed money so he can ride off to the sunset. And I think that he did not like that the Heat questioned if he can even play up to par to his past seasons. And I think that kind of hurt his ego a little bit, and he's been kind of mad about it. And we're here where we are right now. That's how I feel about it. I feel like this was a battle that didn't need to be a battle, and it's all about himself. And you could say what you want to say about Pat Riley not getting him help, Pat Riley saying the comments he said, but if you look at it from a viewpoint of an owner or even management, that was the right call. You don't automatically give your player a certain amount if he's shown he hasn't been available to you on a regular basis.
If you have a team, right? If you have a roster that overperforms season in multiple seasons, right? I mean, the Heat were not being talked about at all during those playoff runs, in the regular season of those playoff runs. They weren't.
Correct.
I mean, no one was aware of them. We knew that they were sneaky. I called them the zombies because they just kind of creep up on you, and then once they get you, and it happened so many times. I think Pat Riley got comfortable not needing to make any moves. You see, because if that team performs how we were expecting them to, then Pat Riley would be in question, like, hey, what are you doing as GM to improve us? But if he sees that you guys play like shit for most of the regular season, but then come playoff time you turn it up, he's saying, well, I mean, if you guys want to play, you guys can play and you guys will be good because you've shown it before. That's Pat Riley's attitude. It's the wrong attitude to have, but that's Jimmy's fault because 2020, you guys had no business in the finals. 2023, you had no business in the finals. And Pat Riley's gotten used to that. Like, well, why should I get you help if you can already do it? And it's not the way to go about it. And maybe Jimmy's like, wait a minute. I know we didn't win a championship, but I did get you to 2 finals, and I kind of created this whole Heat culture thing, so you would think that earned me a little bit of maybe guarantee, right? I mean, at least show me some respect and give me what I'm asking because I've done it before.
But don't you find it kind of odd? Because they never said they weren't going to pay him.
I know, but people don't act like this for. I know, Adrian, but people don't act like this for no reason. He's clearly bothered by something. And again, this is gonna come up later. This is gonna come up in an interview later.
But it's been since last summer,
right? Ever since Pat Riley said that,
when he got called out,
or No, or was it during that huddle where he almost smacked Spo?
It could have
And
been
then
from that point on too.
it could have no. It could have been before that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We don't know what happens behind the scenes.
That's true.
That little argument in the huddle, that says a lot. That says like that's not the first time that Jimmy's questioned Spo in a huddle. That's just we just saw the edge poking up out of the water. This has been going on for a while. And maybe they're just fed up of his shit. And he just wants a little respect. And it's two sides that aren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to get moved. He's making
No,
way
yeah.
too much money to be performing the way he is.
I think the Heat will most definitely move him, but they're not going to move him for like a Bradley Beal contract. Like, you know what I mean? They're not going to shoot
Yeah.
themselves in the foot just because Jimmy's being Jimmy. Um,
And I believe that's what's being offered. That's why he's not moved.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they're offering bad contracts. Although, hey, I will say this, even though they kind of play the same position, Jordan Poole
I
to the
mean,
Heat. It's a similar contract, right? Spike Jimmy and send him to send him to Washington.
we should send Jimmy to like, geez, where should we should send Jimmy to like the Lakers or something. I don't know. Maybe not even the Lakers. I think we should
Send him
send
to
him
Washington, dude. Send him to
Washington.
Washington,
I like Washington. I like Detroit a lot as well.
dude. If I'm the Heat, because you listen to me, I truly believe Jordan Poole, the way he's putting up these numbers recently, I truly believe Jordan Poole just doesn't try. Because when he actually tried, you saw how nice Jordan Poole is. People forget he's 6'6". Jordan Poole got that contract from Warriors for a reason. Because Jordan Poole is nice. And I see like he's maybe kind of getting his groove back. If they offer Jordan Poole for Jimmy, if I'm Miami, I'd rather deal with Jordan Poole shit than deal with Jimmy shit.
It's just hard to put a player like Jordan Poole already with a player like Tyler Hero. Like,
They're almost the same player, right?
yeah,
Yes. I wish Tyler could play more of a point guard role, man, because he
I
would be so good.
I would enjoy to receive either a power forward, a real power forward, or potentially a point guard is what I would want in a Jimmy return deal. Um, Mainly maybe a point guard or just a really good guard because we can
Right.
send out I would be very happy right now. You send out Jimmy and Terry Rozier in a nice box with a bow and just give us
No,
like
I'm
two
gonna tell you what you
decent
need.
guards.
No, I'm gonna tell you what you need right now. What the Heat need, and what they're probably not gonna get, and if they do, watch out, is a lineup that consists of Ware, Bam, hold for my consideration for that small forward spot, and then you have Duncan and Hero. But Hero's gonna be at the point guard slot, but he's not gonna be the point guard. You need a wing like a Jalen Johnson sort of player that can handle the ball and orchestrate an offense while still being a small forward. Because that'll be dangerous because you have Duncan, Hero, Bam, and Ware who can all shoot, right?
Like an
And
Aaron
then
Gordon.
you're no, because Aaron Gordon is not on Jalen Johnson's level. I'm thinking more of like a Scottie Pippen sort of role,
But that's
like
that's the type of player that you need.
Grant Hill, yes, where like he's big, he's a point forward. You need a point forward that can handle the ball and that can create, and they can take that point guard duties off of Hero, but not take Hero off the floor and leave Duncan there. Because they need to use Duncan better.
Yeah, and I feel like with size, and people forget too, Duncan's pretty. He's like 6'7", 6'8".
No, he's 6, yeah, he's 6'6", but he's a long 6'6".
Yeah.
And
So
he's gotten better on defense.
yeah,
So
so you surround a little bit more size in that starting lineup, and you got a very formidable five.
yes, Jalen Johnson.
We now know that Cam Johnson allegedly is going out for 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, but I mean, Cam Johnson would work at the small forward spot, but then you still got to worry about someone running the point.
Well, then you just have Hero or Bam to facilitate.
But that's what I'm saying. But they haven't shown that they can do that. Hero's been given a chance, and the Heat are a complete disaster when he's at the point. He just cannot run an offense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, he cannot run an offense. So that's what the Heat need. I don't think they're gonna get it, but that's what you guys need for this specific lineup.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how the season pans out. So stay tuned, everyone, for that update video on if Jimmy has found his joy. We're gonna be doing a segment of that every video, it seems.
Do you think someone's gonna do a billboard and put it in Miami with Jimmy, and it's gonna say, "Have you seen my joy"?
I wouldn't be surprised if it pops up, or if it's already being planned.
Right.
Might be a thing. Let's move on to my favorite person, the NBA commissioner, on his viewpoints on 3-point shooting. Ladies and gentlemen,
This was crazy. I mean, he said he's gonna change something, but I don't know. I mean, what the fuck is he gonna
vows to fix 3-point shooting issue. We are on it. I recognize that to the extent that offenses start to look very similar, we lose distinct team identities. At the same time, the league is going through a transformation. Players like Victor Wembanyama, players like Nikola Jokic are doing things big men never did historically. It wasn't that long ago that the conversations you had with the former commissioner, David Stern, we would bemoan the lack of skill among some players, that there was a sense that there was too much physicality around the game. He continues and says, I don't want to sort of knee-jerk move the three-point line. We're sort of going through a process now, seeing how these players are adapting to the new rules and figuring out whatever changes we should make. And then he added on, part of the concern from a basketball folks is that if you move the three-point line back, you'll end up sort of clogging up the area under the basket. And that's not such an attractive basketball either. I assure you, we are on it. I think it's a very fixable issue. We will tweak it. We will correct those issues.
But what is tweakable about it? I mean, besides
First
moving
off,
the line.
Yes. And what is his definition of tweak it? Two, what was wrong with the physicality that the prior NBA under David Stern, if I remember correctly, that is what NBA fans love to watch, is the physicality, the emotion, the paint, like the foot players like Tim Duncan, players with footwork. I mean, all those type of things. As much as I hated Meta World Peace, whenever he would go out and elbow someone, it brought excitement to the game. It brought that physicality to the game. And now that we've kind of steered away from that, you want to now tweak the 3-point line for players creating themselves a 3-point shot. I mean, it's not like every NBA player just shoots threes because it gives them 3 points. I mean, that was a skill that they had to develop and adjust to.
It's with any change in anything, it creates a ripple effect, and this change has taken away the big man, the quintessential big man that I grew up on. Right, Shaq would be obsolete sort of in today's NBA. No one wants to talk about that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he would still be dominant, but if you're taking, if Shaq has to guard Jokic at the 3-point line, that changes Shaq, right? It changes what he can do. I mean, Shaq was a monster in the paint, but he couldn't, hang with these quicker centers and close out and still get back. Shaq was just, he was in an era by himself where big men were like him.
Exactly.
You had Patrick Ewing kind of doing fadeaways. You had Akeem Olajuwon doing the little shimmy, but they were still in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You take away that, and then what do you have? What you have is a bunch of diva sort of, Vucevic type players that don't want to get down low and bang. You know, and that was the best part of being a center. That's what I remember growing up. And that's what I think people say when the game is changing. They don't want to accept the fact that, yes, centers are not used the same way. Power forwards are not used the same way. I mean, I can remember power forwards that would never step out to the 3-point line. I mean, Sean
Mm-hmm.
Kemp,
Yeah.
Karl Malone, Kenyon Martin. Can you imagine Kenyon Martin stepping out to the 3-point line and then
No.
coming and then dunking it on somebody? It just didn't happen. But in today's NBA, we have players that can do that. And Silva has to respect that the skill level has increased. I don't know how he tweaks that because now you're asking players to be less skillful. And I don't think you want that because where in the 90s, where would be like, if he's stepping back shooting a 3-pointer, they'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing shooting with 3-pointer? Get your
It would be
stupid ass into
crazy.
the basket.
They probably would never even allow him to take the shot.
Right, so you have to also understand that, you know, it's an evolvement, right? It's the game is evolving. You gotta respect that the players are more skilled today, but I would like to see some of the old school uh kind of play get back. What if they do what about this? What if in every single game there's like a power play, right? Where you remove the 2-point line for most of the game, but during the power play, it's the 3-point line, right? So then you get a barrage of threes, but then you got to go back to playing basketball, right? Real basketball, where players are actually running plays.
I don't like that idea. However, for something like the All-Star game, I think that's a good way to get them, kind of get them involved. So I like it in that aspect, but in a regular season game, I wouldn't like that. Um, I just feel like, I get when people, because you always hear like, the casual fan or, everyday person you might meet at work say, "Oh, I don't like the NBA anymore. Everyone ever does is shoot threes." I get that aspect, but at the same time, it's so difficult. Like if I feel like most people have never been to an NBA game because when you go to an NBA game and you see where the 3-point line is, the 3-point line is a very difficult shot to
Dude,
hit
it is difficult,
consistently.
but Adrian,
And they're not just hitting it in front of the line now. They're hitting it way out there.
if you remove the 3-point line, do you think they'll be shooting it from that far away?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Jason Tatum is 6'8", 6'9". Do you think he's settling for a shot that far away if it's worth the same amount if I back this guy down and body him and get a layup? Do you think he's going to think twice about taking that far away shot? I think he is. So maybe the answer is you have to remove the 3-point line at some point in the game to create a balance. Maybe first quarter 3-point line, second quarter no 3-point line. Then that creates that forces the team to change their strategy, and you just can't shoot threes.
But then it's not really traditional basketball at that point.
But traditional basketball is changing right before our eyes, and there's nothing that they can do about it. They're taking so many threes. It's insane. If the Celtics were taking this many threes in the 90s, they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Take it to the hole.
I agree that, like, a lot of teams take a lot of 3-pointers now and all that.
Excessive amount of threes, dude.
And I agree, but it's just I just feel like it's inevitable. Like this is just our NBA. This is how it is. This is the shift. I just feel like there's not really much you can do about it.
So you're against keeping the 3-point line?
No, I'm for keeping the 3-point line.
Right. Yeah. No, you're against with not taking out.
Correct. I disagree with taking out the 3-point line. I don't like it. I've seen people even say to move. The only thing I can kind of understand is that you could move the 3-point line a little bit further out because they're already taking shots further out already. So, I mean, that could also reduce the amount of 3-pointers shot or attempted. by moving it out a little bit farther out, because most players aren't going to hit 3-pointers close to half court per se, or wherever they decide to do with that. But I feel like that's a good way you could deter it, and still keep the 3-point shooting involved, because there's players like Tyler Hero, there's Steph Curry, Kevin Durant that could shoot them from anywhere. Trae Young, you know what I mean? So I feel like that could probably work, but I don't know. It's a very tricky conversation. Also, do we even know if Adam Silver's serious about this? Maybe not.
He's saying he's going to tweak something, but we don't know what he's going to tweak. The only
Exactly.
thing he can be able to do is push back the 3-point line. But he said himself, Silver did push back on the idea of the 3-point line needs to be moved back.
Mm-hmm.
But he did acknowledge that there are ongoing conversations surrounding it. So something is going to happen. I think, this is my assumption, I don't have any insiders in the NBA, but they're going to do sort of like a power play sort of thing. They're going to implement a power play, because in hockey, power play is something that fans look forward to. They know there's an advantage on the other side. We don't know what it's going to be like, but it's going to be something like that. And I hope he doesn't change it to the point to where people don't want to watch it anymore. But
Correct.
all them threes going up, it does get annoying when they start missing. I mean, it messes the whole thing up.
I agree. It kind of just kills the excitement, and kind of just it. I mean, if you're watching your team get blown out by, let's say the Boston Celtics, by like the 18th three, you're not watching the game no more. You're done with the game already by the 18th three. It's done.
Isn't there something so satisfying to watch when you see a play being ran, right? And then all of a sudden, the end of the play is happening, and you see someone completely open, or completely open, backdoor, wide open for a layup, and you saw all that movement going on. That's the beautiful game that people are forgetting. And Europe does it so well. That's why they love pick and rolls in Europe, because the pick and roll is the beginning of it. But so many moving parts, and they usually ends up with a layup, and it's a wide open layup. And when that happens, it's like, man, that was beautiful, because there's 5-on-5, so there's no excuse, no excuse to why that guy's wide open. It's defense versus offense, and defense got to communicate. Mm-hmm. So something has to be done, because I missed that part of the game, but I don't know what he does. I mean, I don't know how he tweaks it. I'm curious to see how this turns out.
I mean, also, we can, just to give a quick thing on this. I mean, we can even let's just go back, right? Let's go back to 2010, 2015, around that time, even 2006, 5, around that time. The way NBA is even presented on TV is completely different from how it is presented now, and I feel like they've lost the spark to that too. When you go back to playoff games, how they would show each team's intro before the game started, kind of get you pumped. There was always these great storylines for each team and players. I just feel like the reason why the NBA has lost so many viewers and maybe fans is that I just feel like emotionally they don't have the same output as they used to have. And I mean, like I said, you can go back to rewatching maybe just watching the opening intro lineups. Like that's what I miss about watching basketball. Now you get there's like 50,000 commercials at one time, and you got to find out which streaming service or what channel, or if your league pass isn't blocked in your state. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just gotten so much harder, in my opinion, for the average NBA fan to enjoy games than it used to be.
I agree, and one of the biggest things that I hate, and I've always been against, is they play too many games. There's so many meaningless games, and I know they all count towards the ultimate goal. Yeah. I know they all count towards the ultimate goal of the record, but it's like, dude, that's like, no one's watching fucking Tuesday basketball with the fucking Wizards and the fucking Hornets. No one's watching that. Like, that's a money grab. It's a stadium full of fans. you're hoping people watch the game, but that's the thing that I hate, that it's so there's a lot of meaningless games. Shorten the regular season, make the games count, sort of like football where it's like on a Sunday. Maybe make them where it's like the games are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then Saturday and Sunday like all day games, where you have, and space it out. You have less players injured, and the games will mean a lot more. Because right now, like I find myself missing a game with the Celtics, and I'm like, well, I missed that. That's fine. They have a game tomorrow. It's like the games. There's so many games.
Yeah.
It's almost like baseball. Baseball's 160 games. I'm not gonna fucking watch that the entire time. Like, I'm gonna miss some games. Like, what the fuck?
No, I'm with you on that.
Right? It's an excessive amount of games. Make it 40. I think in Euro, can we look up what the Euro is? I think Euro is like 40 games. I mean, they fucking get it over there.
All I know is that they need to what they need to do is they need to find the spark that it used to have, get more engaged with the fans, make this more interesting, spread out maybe some of the games, and I think we're back in action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is this. What we're watching right now is very entertaining. A lot of great players, a lot of young players, a lot of young teams. So, I mean, we'll just have to see how this pans out with Adam Silver and see what he tweaks. We'll probably hear about it maybe after this season or after All-Star break. But
I expect during the offseason there's going to be something done.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're going to do something about it, and we're going to see what it is. Hopefully they listen to me. Hopefully one of the viewers are on the rule committee. One of our subscribers are on the rule committee. I know it. So they're going to take this video into consideration.
Let's see what happens, man. Thank you guys for watching the Final Point podcast. Hope you enjoyed. We will have a next episode probably out on Friday or Saturday, and we'll give you an update as to what's going around in the NBA. Have a good night. See you guys.
Peace.